Hi everybody, it's Tom from Vehicle Visionary. This is the 2023 GMC Yukon. This is the XL Denali Ultimate. And I'm going to answer the question for you today. What do you get for a sticker price of $100,895? Well, you better have running water in the interior, among other things, right? Well, that's definitely one thing that isn't here. But what is here is a lot of space for passengers, for the driver, for cargo capacity, good towing numbers. The interior overall is spacious and filled with, well, basically just about everything besides running water that you can imagine. The engine options are all plentiful with horsepower. In this particular case, on what is now the top tier trim level of these Yukons for 2023, this is going to be the 3-liter diesel version. But that doesn't mean it's not impressive in its capabilities. Let's take a look at exactly what you get inside and out with this model for that unbelievable sticker price. To begin with, the exterior color on this model is white frost tint coat. It has an alpine umber interior. We'll take a quick look into that, even though we've taken a small look already, a little bit of a glimpse. And obviously, you're going to have features such as the power steps right here that come in and out appropriately. I'll show you the time frame in which those come out when the door is opened. And the good thing about it, if one of the kids, or even one of the adults for that matter, is slow to get in, well, they can be a little late and still have the opportunity not to have any issues. And there are lights underneath there, kind of hard to see at this time of the day because it's a little light out here. LED lighting everywhere you look. For $100,895, there better be LED lighting everywhere you look. And here on the passenger side, you can definitely see the C logo right here with the combination of the daytime running lights and those blinkers. Nice large blinkers. That way you can be courteous to everybody around you and let them know which direction you're going, because those things definitely get a lot of attention. And the specific to this trim level grille, nice and large. It doesn't look like everything else, and neither does that GMC logo as far as its color goes. And you're gonna have a lot of safety features, as you can imagine. I probably don't need to tell you too much about that. We'll also have the fog lights down there. I don't have those turned on right now, but they are there. And a very nice, large, aggressive looking front end. The whole vehicle, very aggressive looking. And speaking of large, what about tire and wheel size? 275 is what we have on the width. So wide that I almost can't get my hand all the way across. Boy, just maybe barely within a micron of an inch, I'm able to do that. And then we're going to have the 50 series sidewall, so a nice large sidewall. That's going to help contribute to good ride quality, among other things. And then the 22-inch wheels. You're also going to have the magnetic ride, as well as the air suspension. All of that is here. Tell you what, no shortage. And I already told you a little bit about what's under the hood, but there is the proof right there. Well, part of the proof. And then we're going to have the body-colored mirror caps, little gloss black down there on the bottom. Cameras basically everywhere you look. Turn signal indicators built into the side view mirrors that are power adjustable with blind spot monitoring built in. In fact, let me turn this off just so that that's not bothering everybody. We'll do that because I wanted to show you one thing. I don't know if we're gonna be able to get that to go off or not, but we'll do this right now just so you can see those are power adjustable, power folding side view mirrors. Now I have a combination here of the chrome and body colored door handles on all 4 doors. You're also going to find this button right here. That's not adaptive cruise control or anything like that. Boy, I just gave you something to laugh at, didn't I? That's passive entry. Let's get that correct. And the good news is for you parents out there, depending on how old your kids are, heck, you might do this with your teenagers. I don't know. You might have to come back here first to the rear doors. The good thing is that you can program this button to unlock all 4 doors on both sides. And that way, you can open everything up from the rear. You don't have to really worry too much about those issues. Saves a little bit of time, effort, and energy. And to finish things off, as far as the overall roof line goes, we do have the roof rails up there. Very nice large rear window here on the side, and the nice large rear roof spoiler. And kudos to GMC for keeping things nice and clean back here on the rear window. What do I mean by that? The rear window wiper is concealed away right up here. That looks nice. LED taillights to finish things off. And ultimately, your Yukon and Denali logos right there. But let's talk a little bit more about what's under the hood, because even though it's not the largest engine available by any means, its numbers are still rather impressive, especially the torque. All right, here under the hood, the 3-liter Duramax diesel. It makes 277 horsepower. That may not sound like much, but the torque numbers are identical to that of the largest available engine for these Yukons. The 6.2-liter V8, 460 pounds-feet of torque. It's mated to a 10-speed automatic transmission. And yeah, this may not have the best aerodynamics in the world. Let's see what the MPGs are. So here's what we have: 20 city, 26 highway, 22 combined, and 4.5 gallons of gas per every 100 miles driven. And you might wonder, well, how do we really bring that home to something I can understand? Within the confines of this area where you're going to fill this diesel engine, you're going to fill up with diesel fuel, obviously here, not gas, is a 28-gallon gas tank. If you want to tow with this model, it can tow between 7,400 and 7,800 pounds. And in this case, you do have the hands-free function. You can see, you can kick your foot under there or swing it however you want to, or kind of swing it across like I did. But obviously, there's a lot here as far as space goes. But one more thing I do want to share real quick with you. Notice that door doesn't look like it opened all the way. What happens if you kick your foot or whatever you want to do with that motion sensor back there and nothing happens? Well, let's do this. Let me show you the very first thing and most likely issue. It's going to have to do with what we have right here. You can set this to full, you can set it to 3/4, you can also turn it all the way off, and depending on where it is set, and it does look like it's set to max right now, so I guess that is as far as it's going to open for us. But in case you ever run into any issues where that is concerned, then that's the first place I would look before you do anything else. And cargo capacity wise, you have 44.5 up to a maximized 144.7 cubic feet. So here's the thing. Notice that I have to hold that down. I wanted you to see that. Those seats do come down and up rather quickly. If I let go of the button, it automatically stops. So you have to hold the button down for that to work correctly. We'll go ahead and drop that seat back down, showing you how to maximize cargo capacity. Now you can use these buttons in the front right here to lower the middle row seats. And here's the thing about that. You can use the power feature to raise and lower these rear seats. For the middle row seats, you can use the buttons to lower them, but you'll have to manually raise them back up. We do have quite a bit of space underneath the floor right here. There's everything you need to change a tire, or at least part of what you need to change a tire. As you did see earlier, this vehicle does have a spare tire, so there's a lot going on here, quite a bit of space. Tie downs back here, as you can see, right here, and quite a bit as far as great features go. For those of you who are fans of the panoramic sunroof and say, I don't like the conventional size sunroof, well, there you go. That's another thing that you're paying for here. But I tell you what, we are just getting started. And now we'll take a little more serious look into the interior. And as you can see, you're gonna have a combination of the wood grain material right here, the brushed aluminum in a couple of different places, not only with the trim, but on the door handle as well. Some nice comfortable materials here for the armrests, an upper and a lower door bin. This one's a little bit smaller up here, but a good place for snacks. More space down here and kind of a drink holder of sorts right there. The very nice looking material here as far as the stitch pattern goes. And something I wanted to show, we're about to hop into the third row and take a look at how much space is back there. So what I've done is I moved the passenger side seat all the way forward. Probably a very unconventional, unlikely place for that to wind up. But you can see the difference between that one being all the way up and the driver's side here being all the way back. So to get that up and out of the way, once, twice, I don't even have to do anything. It's pretty much hands-free. You can see the track that rides on right there, so you can just kind of see how things work. So we're going to pull that back down, pull the seat back up, and make sure that everything is where it should be. And since I'm not talented enough to move that seat back one-handed, I had to put the camera down for just a minute. But you can see that even with this seat all the way back, it is as far back as it will go. You can really see the difference between the two at this particular angle. I still have plenty of space. And what about head space? Well, I have quite a bit there too. I'm 5'10". Somebody that's 5'11", 6 foot, I probably could be okay back here. And then we're going to have our cup holders. Going to have a USB option for connectivity right there, and also an air conditioning vent. So plenty of air for everybody, plenty of space. And just to show the differences between the two areas, like I said, this is probably unlikely, but you can see even if the seat was back to about right here, I'd still have plenty of space, but we'll have a ton of leg space where this is concerned. And then one more thing I do want to show is the nice view with the panoramic sunroof. Obviously, that's going to improve even to a greater degree when we move into the middle row area. And there is how everything looks from the middle row as far as the panoramic sunroof goes, but that's probably not the best view. Here is the best view, and I apologize for the glare. Kind of hard to avoid right there. But you can see on these screens, obviously one on each side, keep the kids and even the adults entertained when driving down the road on the long road trips. You can use the headphone option right there. We're not going to do that right now, but obviously settings, quite a bit going on. You can change the screen brightness if you want to. In fact, that's not even as bright as it can be, so we're going to make that easier to see by doing that. Let's hit this. We'll go back into settings one more time just so you can see what all is here. So quite a bit going on, and yes, the vehicle does come with the headphones. Got two sets here since you have two screens. I'm not going to pull all that out of there because you know what the headphones look like. But as you can see, there's a lot going on there. You can watch vehicle visionary videos on the road, at least your rear seat passengers can. That's always a good thing and greatly appreciated. And one thing that is definitely plentiful here, there are cup holders everywhere. I showed you the door bin cup holders. You have a couple right here. Even more storage space. You could probably slide a bottle down in there if you wanted to. There's a lot of options where that is concerned. And then here on the rear of the center console, a little bit of a command center for controlling everything as far as the heated seats go. You have 3 different settings there. You can change the fan speed, obviously the temperature. Let's leave that on so we can demonstrate that. And then we have some connectivity options, as we can see here as well, between a couple of different USB options and the power outlet right down here that you can conceal away if so desired. There is an immense amount of capabilities here as far as what can be done. Even something as basic as using a coat hanger. You can hang whatever you want to right there, whatever will fit. And obviously more in the way of the air conditioning vents. But we're just getting started. There's a lot more to take a look at when we hop into the front seat. And taking a look in through the passenger side front door, very similar to what we saw for the rear doors, so I'm not going to spend too much time on that. You do have the Denali logo on the door sill right there. The heated and ventilated, power adjustable and massaging seats. That's how you activate the massage function. Going to have the Ultimate logo right there so people know it's not just a Denali, it's a Denali Ultimate. Also, you are going to have an amazing, you and your passengers are going to have an amazing experience with the sound system within this vehicle. We'll take a quick look at what we have as far as the wood trim goes throughout the interior in a few different areas here. We're going to have some of the brushed aluminum around the air conditioning vents and a gloveless glove box. They're always gloveless, but you can see that there's plenty of space in here depending on what it is you want to put in here. And wireless charging, more USB connectivity, a 12-volt power outlet. If you get tired of looking at that, guess what? You can just hide that away. It's that simple. And then Probably don't have to tell you what's right there, but you can also hide that away. The cup holders and the connectivity and the wireless charging pad. And the good news here is that you can put a wireless charging pad in right here. There's an aftermarket version you can buy that actually goes in here. It just plugs in, I believe, back in this area right here. So we have the lid for the console that doubles as an armrest for the driver and the passenger. And there is space in here to do just about anything you need. Quite a bit of room in there. For right now, we'll just leave that sheet of paper in there, but plenty of space left. And the upper console, we took a quick look at that earlier, and there's another feature on here I'm going to show you when we get over to the driver's side. But obviously, I probably don't need to tell you too much about what is there. You do have the power shade for the panoramic sunroof if you want to draw that forward. And obviously, we're going to have the vanity mirror with the fold-down sun visors. Hello, everybody. Got the lights right there. And how far back does that come? Well, it completely covers the window. So that does a great job. And if the driver wants to exercise 277 horsepower and 460 pounds-feet of torque, the passengers can grab the oh crap handle because they may be a little surprised at the result of dropping the hammer. And yes, I'm going to show you the remote in case you wanted to see. That's what the remote looks like. A little chrome on the side, the GMC logo on the rear. And yes, it does have remote start. That's super easy to use. You just push that twice. You don't have to hold it down and the engine starts right up. So what we're going to do is we're going to hop inside real quick. I do want to show you one thing here on the rear doors. You may not know about this. Some people do, some people don't. I'm going to go ahead and show it anyway. Here is where you activate or deactivate the child safety locks. You can see with the diagram right here, when you push that into the down position like that, that means the child safety locks are active. When you push it back up towards the lock or towards the rear of the door, it means they're not active. And we really took a good look at what we had here already. On the driver's side door, as far as the armrest controls go, but you do have seat memory here. That's one thing obviously going to be very helpful. And then we're going to have the driving modes right here, everything to control the exterior lighting right here. And then, yes, there is a head-up display right here. There's your power parking brake. And for the price of this Yukon XL, you better have a power adjustable steering wheel, tilt and telescopically speaking. And now we'll hop inside and let you see the graphics that come up on the infotainment screen and the dashboard. Just showing you what's here. This is part of what you're paying for, so we might as well go ahead and show it. Now, the Yukon, it's not a truck, it's a Yukon, is running, but I still have to put my foot on the brake and push the button right there, and that basically unlocks everything. So that way nobody can just hop in after you've remotely started your Yukon and take it away. You do have the Super Cruise feature here. Unfortunately, this vehicle has already been purchased, so I'm not going to be able to demonstrate that out on the road today. But I do have videos where I demonstrate it in other models in case you're curious. A very nice looking instrument cluster here. Everything is digital. And speaking of digital and instrument cluster, let's talk about driving modes. There's off-road, there's sport, there's normal, just to show you what all is here. And depending on what you do, you're going to notice, let me go back here, see, the suspension will raise and or lower on the vehicle. So depending on your driving mode, well, it's going to determine what happens there. And hopefully the camera does a good job of picking up the head-up display for you right there. As far as what we have, there is a lot to see there. Very nice looking, very clear, and definitely going to give you a lot of good information. And you do have everything here for your cruise control and all of the different features and functionality you can go through. We'll just use the scroll wheel right here to go through a few things and just show you what shows up on the dashboard in case you were curious about that on the digital dash. So there we go. We'll just leave that there as it is and let you see real quick. But I think one of the main areas, now one more thing I do want to cover before we touch on the infotainment screen. Something that people either love or they hate, there's no in between, and that's the push button shifter right here. So that might take a little bit of getting used to. I know a lot of you would like to have maybe a shifter down here, or better yet, a column shifter. Tell me what your thoughts are on that. So here's what's going to happen. You're going to pull to go into reverse, If you need to go into neutral, well, you push that. If you want to go into drive, you're going to pull. And so then you push to go back into park. Obviously, there is a lot going on here. You have Google Assistant. I'm not going to demonstrate that because I don't want to set off everything in your house, but basically you're going to say, hey, you know what? And really there's all sorts of commands that you can give. You can even use navigation with just simply using voice commands. And so that's very nice, a very simplistic feature. You can control everything you want to right here. We're going to go back home because I want to look at the cameras here. You can see you have the overhead 360-degree view of sorts right there. And we can also change the view from the front to the rear or the rear to the front. And let's see here. I don't know if this one has, it does not have a front camera washer. I was wondering if it did. I didn't look earlier, but obviously it does not have the front camera washer feature, but does have a ton of cameras on it. Literally every angle you could imagine. And there's the angle from the side view mirrors. I mean, everything you want to see, you can easily see here. So a very nice, simplistic system to use, that's for sure. And then we're going to have all the controls down here for the air conditioning. Here is your heated steering wheel. That's where that button is, in case you were wondering. And that's one thing a lot of people aren't used to. You're maybe wondering, if you have the Super Cruise, do you still have the heated steering wheel? Well, now you have your answer on that. And then we also have everything for our heated seats, as you can see right there. And there is the ventilated option. Quite a bit going on, but there's still a couple of things I want to show you. In fact, one of those would be right here with the rear view camera mirror. Now, if you want to use that as a conventional mirror, well, you can right there. But there are a lot of situations that come up where it could be very useful to use the rear view camera mirror option. So that's always a good thing to have, to know that it's there. And depending on what you want to do, well, you can do that. You can also open the sunroof if you want to. It's opening either tilt, or you can slide the whole thing open like this. That makes a difference depending on how sporty of a driving experience, I guess, you want to have of sorts. And I'll go ahead and draw the shade forward just so you can see that it does come forward, as I was talking about earlier. And another button you might wonder about, this one right here. What exactly is that? Well, that's because you have the power sliding console right here. That can have a lot of different advantages. You could send drinks back closer to your rear seat passengers. That's not really what it's intended for, but you could use it that way. You also will increase space right here, and you can have the hidden drawer as far as that goes. That's always a nice feature. And just so you can see it in action, this is how long it takes. Oops, keep my finger on there. There we go. That's how long it takes for it to come back into place. And one thing I wanted to show you, there is so much here that we could go through. You can manage every aspect of this vehicle, from trailering to lighting to the way the seats work, everything here. In fact, real quick, before I do what I was about to show you, let me just show you one thing here. I clicked that seat, that mode on the seat, or button on the seat that I showed you earlier for the massage function. And as you can see, you can even change what's going on there. But that's not my intention here. So depending on what your situation is, you might want to listen to things in a certain way. So we're going to go right here. And here we're going to go to sound mode. And so depending on the situation and what you want to hear, well, this is where you control that. So what I'm going to do is let my channel trailer play, and I'm going to change a few things here. We'll start with normal, and hopefully my lapel mic will pick up the differences. Okay, we're going to turn that off real quick. I hope you can hear the differences. I don't know if my lapel mic did a good job of picking all of that up for you. But that's one of the main things I wanted you to know about as far as this vehicle goes. the sound system here is exceptional, but so is just about everything else. You're definitely getting a lot for the sticker price of what you're paying for this particular vehicle. All right, we're gonna get out on the road for a really quick test drive. A lot of the time I say that and it's not real quick. Today it will be, because I'm literally down the road from the dealership. This vehicle is already purchased, so a special thanks to my buddy Wesley at the dealership for letting me at least drive it down the road just a little bit. But I can tell you that you definitely have plenty of power under the hood. A lot of people may be concerned about the numbers I gave earlier and say, is it enough? It's more than enough. It's a comfortable vehicle to drive for its size, easily maneuverable. Maybe you're stepping out of a smaller SUV into something like this and saying to yourself, well, I'm not quite sure how that's going to work. Is it going to be easy to learn? Well, it will be, because you have the camera views all over the vehicle that help out to make it easy to see everything that's going on around you. So if you think you're in a really tight space, well, guess what? No big deal. Good acceleration. The interior is very comfortable, and the ride quality, yep, good too. So quite a bit going on here. Super Cruise, easy to use. Like I say, I've got videos on that. I can't demonstrate that with this particular model just because of the fact that, well, it's already sold. We can't go out and get on the road long enough to really be able to test that feature out. But I tell you what, everything looking really nice here. In fact, you can even get a good view of what's going on behind me or around me because of the fact that we have the cameras on right now, and you can actually do that when you're driving. That's something that I don't think we were able to do in the past with some of these vehicles, but overall a very enjoyable vehicle, easy to drive and easy to park, as you can see. So now it's your turn to talk. Tell me what you think about this 2023 GMC Yukon XL Denali Ultimate. By the way, it is four-wheel drive. I don't think I mentioned that earlier in the video. You may already know that, but I'm curious to know what your thoughts are. As far as the high points of what we hit here, we didn't hit every single little nook, cranny, and feature of what you get for a sticker price of $100,895. Maybe you're looking for something to have on wheels as far as your new house goes. Some houses cost less than that. It's very interesting to read comments when I feature vehicles like this, but I have to admit it's pretty interesting. There's a lot going on here. So I gotta say a special thanks to my friends at Morgan Buick GMC for loaning me this model for the day, and a special thanks to all of you for being kind enough to give me the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn about other vehicles you may wish to consider purchasing, check out the video that's on the screen right now, and I will see you there.